Back in the days, at the beginning, the first bikes were not necessarily designed for gravity stuff. It was more recreational and being able to transfer people from one point to the other.
I was one of the first freeride mountain bikers to really embrace the e-bike.
So the first e-mountain bikes I was riding, they were super bad. Early 2010s, the motors, the batteries, everything was so big and so heavy.
Those things were like 50 kilograms. They had huge motors in there. We had the battery on the outside.
You were basically not able to build a good packaging around it.
The biggest flaws in the e-bikes of the early time was package and the chances we had as designers to make it look nice.
Horrible looking bikes. I can kind of see why people hated e-biking just by looking at one.
I think we did not really see the need for an e-bike in the gravity area in the beginning, but that changed a lot after we tried it out, I would say. If we are talking about the first Spectral, yeah, we were test riding it the first time in Italy, and we felt like, whoa, that's nearly a gravity bike.
Thinking about it as an engineer, you could already see the potential that this is gonna be possible to create a super interesting and super fun gravity bike around those motor systems.
You're interested in doing as many laps as possible, but if you look into the market, there are not many good products out there you can use for this. And this we saw as an opportunity on one hand, but we also wanted such a bike for ourselves. So we started to think, okay, what is a good gravity e-bike?
I mean, looking at the gravity customer, they want to do as many laps and have as much fun as possible on the trails. Back then, if you would show up in a bike park with an e-bike, I think everybody would have laughed at you.
Most of the people that hated on an e-bike at the start never tried one. For me, the way you can get up easily up the top of a hill and not have to push was like literally the best thing on earth.
It gives you even more freedom on the mountain bike yet before, because by your physical limitations, you're not able to do those super steep climbs.
Well, it's a whole new genre of biking. You find yourself looking at like a steep hill and seeing if you could pick your way up, which obviously I never would have done before.
But with an e-bike, it's easy. And so you can do now more things than you could ever do before.
So it just opened up a whole new world of fun to be had.
Yeah, you don't need to have a lift anymore, you don't need to have a shuttle anymore, you don't need to push your heavy bike.
An e-bike for a YouTuber, content creator, is literally a must-have. I can just keep doing the same run to get the perfect shot. Oh, that was cool for a second though, wasn't it?
Obviously, looking at the Spectral, we were thinking about, okay, if we can do a good Spectral, yeah, maybe we can also do a good torque around those systems.
We kind of identified that there was a need and that we wanted to follow that path. We benchmarked different projects, etc. And we quickly understood what was the potential, where we could go with it. And you know, right away the puzzle gets in the head, get everyone excited, and you can see on the R&D department, everything is buzzing. So that was the excitement.
If you are looking at the talk on, it's obvious, yeah, we wanted to do something different, we wanted to do something red.
We want some more. It is really going in direction motocross and downhill and so on.
The geometry is no compromise. This is a pure bike park bike, a shuttle bike. Yeah, we can put the biggest battery in it because with the Shimano, yeah, we are actually able to use our own battery and make it even bigger, yeah, than the standard ones. So you can do as many bike park laps as you want on this bike.
We had the wish and the aim to reach the highest level of gravity performance with this new torque-on e-bike. For the chassis, we decided to check out our best designs that we had already, and that was, for instance, the Sender, and it was also inspiration coming from motocross. Afterwards, we were going crazy as designers like to go. Yeah, we wanted a bike that is also telling gravity in overall design, so that you see the bike and instantly understand what it is meant for.
Oh, he's flying! For me, the Torque On is a super special bike because it is made for pure sending.
So with the Torque on, we want to have a no compromise bike park bike or trail bike or freeride bike, no matter how you call it.
We got the 180 mil travel. We got the huge 900 watt-hour battery, so you can go all day long.
It's a big bike, but it's still playful. Yeah, you have the mullet setup. You can go full gas on any bike park trails, but at the same time, just still able to do playful riding.
And I've already done flips, 360s, no-handers, everything on this bike without even questioning it.
So I mean, e-bike for bike park sounds maybe a bit strange, because on a bike park usually you have some kind of uplift. But looking at the sheer amount of trail parks evolving over the last years for a bike park without lift access, and this is what the Torque is made for. Obviously, what is as an eye catcher is the bottle. Many times in the development of a bike, you do some compromises just to be able to fit a standard bottle.
Was really a conflict in our R&D phase. So where should we put the bottle?
The bike engineer came up once in our office and said, "Here's your space for the bottle. This is the best thing you can do."
And the solution we do have right now is really unique. It's very special. I really have to say we are super happy with the design. It looks really modern, state-of-the-art, unique, quickly recognizable as a Canyon Gravity bike.
And you can just pop the bottle in and take it out by one hand and ready to go.
Some gravity riders are quite put off by the e-bikes. I think it's like a mental thing because they think that extra weight is going to be harder to maneuver.
So everyone sees weight as a drama on the bike. Coming from downhill, obviously for 20 years and starting in the 90s, I can tell you that the downhill bike back in the days was 22, 23 kilos. But weight at a good place can be an advantage. If you have basically everything around the BB area, the weight will be a bigger ratio between this weight and what's the suspending masses that are the wheels, and you increase the suspension effect and the grip that you have at the ground. Pretty much similar to a moto. So this balance and this ratio onto an e-bike is actually a lot more relevant than on a push bike.
Really, once you get on there, it's just a different experience of riding, and you can still flip them, you can still do tricks on them. For those of you out there that might be wondering how the e-bike feels in the air, well, it is definitely a delight. That thing just sits perfectly. You take off, it sits exactly how you want it to in the air. They are amazing, and especially if there's some heavy wind coming in, that thing with the added weight is just giving you that extra confidence to send it even on the biggest jumps.
So racing was always a part of Canyon DNA, no matter if you're looking on the road side as well on the mountain bike side. So Canyon was in the game since the early days of enduro racing.
Back in the days, here in Punta Ala, we brought up the very first Stride prototype that actually won the very first EWS.
Since then we competed in EWS. So today it's 10 years of enduro racing, 10 years of working together with Fabian.
And following enduro, we had e-Enduro that started appearing coming with e-bike, and it was important for us to be in that segment and develop a product that was performant enough to be able to win those races, and that's what we do today.
There were a lot of discussions how e-bike racing will look like, their performance going into the endurance direction, but for sure it makes sense to have this enduro format. And in the beginning we had one product, what was the Spectral on, and team riders modified and optimized for competing in the races with longer forks, with different parts. Because of this, we started a new development because we wanted to have a dedicated race bike.
So looking at the geometry and kinematics numbers, it's for sure different compared to the Spectral. And all those changes like a higher BB and longer chainstay we did to be able to deliver a competitive race bike. And when we say competitive, we want you to be able to win races on the bike.
Well, like any sport in mountain biking, the technical side of things is really key, and the product from transmission, braking, suspension, and also now motor are very important to succeed. You will never see a good rider as talented as he is winning on a bad bike.
To have an outstanding race bike, it's important that the handling is superb and the bike is super well to control, as well as power of the motor for technical uphill sections.
So the Strive-On comes with the Bosch CX or the Bosch CX Race. The reason for that is that currently it's the motor with the most power on the market. Considering the Strive is the race bike, this is for sure the motor to go for. So with the Strive-On you have the super light CFR carbon frame, but at the same time also the motor is protected with a big bash guard. So we definitely looked into creating an e-bike with a shapeshifter. But just considering the packaging of the motor and the battery systems, it would have created a lot of downsides to the bike. So in general you can benefit more from a bigger battery rather than from a shapeshifter, because the shapeshifter does help you a lot considering pedaling and climbing, but with the e-bike you have so much power that you benefit more from a bigger battery than from a shapeshifter. Obviously every great race bike is also suitable to other riders. So with the Strive-On, the racer is going to be able to go faster, whereas the average rider is going to benefit from a more capable bike.
Well, in one sentence, the Strive-On is enduro race bike completely adapted to the sport that is coming.